You're very welcome, Judge McGuinness. Catherine, it is a real joy to listen to you, but it also has very much provided us a stark reminder and has challenged us here in this House for our work ahead. And I'd like to begin by noting your work on the Children's Rights Alliance report card, and you've rightly pointed to the work of Tanya Ward, Maria Corbett and all the team of the Children's Rights Alliance, but also to the member organisations of the Children's Rights Alliance who come together to provide that evidence and to bring together the report card. And I'm delighted to welcome many of them to the gallery here today who are joining in. In fact, we couldn't fit them all in, so there are people in the wings waiting and listening. And I could use up all my time by listing every organisation, but I do want to focus on some current issues. I do also want to note the work being done by the Special Rapporteur on Child Protection, the Jeffrey Shannon's annual report. And for me, as a Senator, those two reports provide an invaluable tool for me as a legislator and as a policymaker. And I think it's something that it is good to see that the state does support these initiatives that are here. The Programme for Government 2011 to 2016 set out an ambitious reform agenda for children and family services, and Senator Batchik, in fact, has listed many of the accomplishments that have happened since. But equally, there are areas of concern, and we do need to shine a light on those areas that impact on the daily lives of children. And as I'm sure you know, Catherine, and my colleagues will know in this House, I'm strongly committed to pursuing the gamut of children's rights through my senatorship. Indeed, we have had in this Senate really excellent debates, and I pay tribute to my colleagues, on children's rights, and most recently on beauty pageants, on protecting childhood, a really interesting debate in the autumn on the issue of direct provision. So quite wide-ranging, valuing youth work, really good informative debates. I'd like to first just very briefly, people have mentioned about survivors, and it made me think, when I've met many of the survivors over the years, and we were campaigning before the children's rights referendum became a reality, many said to me the real testament would be to see children's rights articulated in the Constitution of Ireland. So for me, chief among the advancements that we have made is the passage of the children's rights referendum on the 10th of November in 2014. Unfortunately, the enactment of the Amendment Bill, the will of the Irish people, has been subject to a lengthy postponement, pending finalisation of the second part of a legal challenge by Mr Justice McDermott in the High Court before full appeal can proceed to the Supreme Court. The delay in the legal process has been a source of both frustration when I think of the body of legislation that has been passed since November 2011 that could have benefited from a constitutionally recognised best interest of the child principle, and sadness when I think of the number of children of married parents, many whom have spent the vast majority of childhoods in the care system, who have now turned 18 since we voted as the people of Ireland and are eligible for adoption, and their rights have been expunged. It's my sincere hope that priority is given to the delivery of the judgment in the High Court, that the challenge will be given priority listing in the Supreme Court, and the challenge is ruled upon as expediently as possible. While you are before us, Catherine, I'd like to just address two specific issues that are facing children today, and I would seek your guidance. In the Children's Rights Alliance report card, they look at children in detention in Chapter 5.4. And according to a communication the Children's Rights Alliance received from the Department of Children and Youth Affairs in 2013, there's 103 young people were detained on remand for 138 different periods, ranging from 1 day to several months. And we have to bear in mind that a young person may be remanded more than once, pending the outcome of proceedings. But the number of children detained on remand in Ireland, particularly the significant percentage of whom do not go on to receive a custodial sentence, raises serious concerns, I believe, about Ireland's compliance with the internationally and domestically recognised principles of detention as a last resort for children, which incorporates a presumption against the detention for children accused of criminal offences. And Judge McGuinness, I'd like to ask your opinion on the practice in the Children's Court of remanding children for assessment despite Section 88(13) of the Children's Act, which clearly stipulates that the court should not remand a child in detention solely on the basis of care or protection concerns. And to ask you how the absence of a formal system of bail supports and services in Ireland impacts on a child's ability to meet their bail conditions and the consequent risk of their receiving a custodial remand for failure to comply. The second issue that I'd like to raise is the issue of direct provision, which you mentioned in your opening. And Chapter 6, the report card, it starts with a piece by Dr. Liam Thornton entitled Closing Our Eyes, Irish Society and Direct Provision. And I think he's done some excellent work, as has many of the NGOs, such as IRC, Doris Limney, and many NGOs. But the question I want to ask on direct provision, and I should note also that in this House in October, I put forward a motion on the issue of direct provision, and we really all were at one on this issue. Unfortunately, on that date, the Minister wasn't at one with us on it, but we will keep pursuing it, and we have a very good Seanad cross-party group working on the issue. But I want to ask you, it's an issue that is obviously for many years, and we know the high number of children who are in these 34 direct provision accommodation centres throughout the state. Can you give us advice on what you believe is the immediate action that could provide greater protection to children who are caught in the direct provision system? What could we be doing in the immediacy? Because in this House, all senators have agreed that it isn't a place, especially beyond a 3-6 month period, for a child to be accommodated in Ireland. So I would ask your advice. And thank you once again for your address this morning. You've given us many challenges.